We are here in South Beach, Miami, and we're going to discuss some culture shocks of living in Florida. I myself come from Connecticut, and one of the things that I've noticed, as you can see, is that it's absolutely beautiful out. Right now we're in February. In Connecticut, it's usually cold and snowy. I don't like that personally. So one of the biggest culture shocks that's basically common sense is that you're gonna have year-round summer. But some of the things you don't realize when you have year-round summer is that if you burn easily, you might want some suntan lotion. On top of that, when it's all around summer, what are some of the things that you're able to do? You're able to work out, you're able to stay in shape. So that's another thing that you don't really get with Connecticut, because usually people go inside and they try to find themselves a winter wife or a winter husband, some call it. But in reality, all they're trying to do is just find some time to kill while it's the winter. Culture shock number 2. What I've also noticed about living in Florida is that people do not like to let you go. So for example, if you go to switch lanes, like to the left or to the right, if there's somebody even a decent way behind you, it's likely they're gonna end up speeding up. I don't wanna say just to hit you, but just not let you go. Realistically, people must have some really big ego problems because they don't wanna let you go for the life of me. Realistically, if you're in Connecticut, I'm not saying you'll never have that happen to you, but for the most part, it's not gonna happen to you 5 times a day. Out here, it seems like it's every day and people drive like absolute lunatics. So that's another thing you're gonna wanna be aware of. Do not challenge these people. Do not let your ego get the best of you and say, you know what, I'm gonna switch 2 lanes anyway, or I think I got enough room. Just don't even do it, because it's not gonna be worth it. You're gonna get into an accident, hold everybody up, including yourself. Number 3, what you'll also notice is that if you try to swim out in Florida lakes or rivers, you might end up seeing an alligator sign saying beware of alligators. In Connecticut, in New England, like New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Maine, all of these different places, you can go swimming in the lakes and the rivers and not have to worry about an alligator getting you. They also have snakes out here and a variety of other animals. So they have a lot of animals that you would not have if you were in the New England area. So you're not necessarily able to go swimming in all bodies of water out here in Florida. You have to be very careful. There was actually an elderly lady that was walking her dog across the riverbed. The alligator ended up coming out to end up clipping the dog and her. She ended up dying. So you have to be careful of the things that you do when you're out in Florida, because it's not exactly the same as where you're from. So be mindful if you're going out tubing or something like that. You might want to find a spring that you can go to that will unlikely have any alligators. Personally, if it was me, I would find somebody to host it, like a company, because I wouldn't just take my chance and swim anywhere out here. I would make sure that I found a place that does this on a regular basis to know that it was safe. Number 4, if you'll notice, in a lot of areas in Florida, there's a lot of exotic cars. There's a lot of money out here in Florida. I'm not saying Connecticut doesn't have any. It's one of the richer states. But when people see a Lamborghini or a Rolls Royce in Connecticut, people are like, oh wow, look at that, more often. But out here, it's almost like an everyday way of life. You come out to South Beach where I'm at, you go to where I live in Boca, you go to West Palm Beach. It's very common in a lot of places to see Lamborghinis, Rolls Royces, Porsches, Bentleys, Benzes, BMWs. You see a variety of different cars, all luxury cars all the time. We're talking majorities. There's a large majority of luxury cars out here, and it really makes you think, how much success is there to be had? If you're in Connecticut and you're seeing a lot of regular cars, what are you thinking? You're thinking regular thoughts. But if you're around beautiful settings like this, you end up seeing these luxury cars, you're gonna think in your mind, wow, this is possible. I can do this. You're gonna think way bigger than you would if you're in a place, the people who think small and get super excited seeing that stuff. If you're seeing that every day, that's just a natural way of life. That's gonna become you. So if that's something that you're interested in, I think that's definitely a pro to living out here in Florida. Culture shock number 5. If you'll notice, the cost of living in Florida has went up significantly over the past couple years during coronavirus. But one of the things that you will notice is there's affordable places that you can live, like Hialeah, Florida, Homestead, Florida, and a variety of other places that you can live, as long as you don't mind either living in a lower income place or a place that's further outside of the cities where maybe there's more farmland. Realistically, what you're able to do is just go to Google and type in one of these cheaper places to live, and then you'll be able to find where you're able to live at a lower cost. Now, there's a lot of places that offer, shared places, but I wouldn't recommend doing that because you don't know who you're living with, but some people are comfortable with that. So if that's you, then there's definitely a lot of options for you to live out there. But that's definitely a big culture shock, because back in Connecticut, what you're able to do is find a 1-bedroom probably for $800–900, depending on where you live. If you're out here, you're definitely not gonna find that almost anywhere. You gotta pay $1,500–1,600 a month just to find a decent one. If you want one a little cheaper in some of these places that are a little farther out, then sure, you could probably find one maybe closer to 1,000, 1,200. But in Connecticut, you can definitely find one way cheaper. Same thing with Massachusetts and a lot of these other places in New England where I'm from. Culture shock number 6, there's always something to do. Look around, it's beautiful here. I'm actually at a park out in South Beach, Miami, but right behind me, there's beautiful water, there's jet skis riding by, carnival cruises, tons of stuff to do. I think if you live in Florida, you'll never run out of things to do. You can go island hopping, you can go to Disney, you can go to Universal, and they have multiple parks. You can go to Daytona, you can go to Clearwater, Hollywood, Fort Lauderdale. I could just keep naming things to do. And those are just places. There's a lot of things to do inside of those places. So realistically, I would highly suggest moving to Florida over New England just for that one reason alone. If you're looking to be entertained, get out, live your life, that's one of the many reasons that I would suggest to moving to Florida. And that's a big culture shock that you'll have, is that when you're in Connecticut, you're always trying to find something to do Friday, Saturday night. Most people are going to New York, or they'll try to hit the casino in Connecticut, stuff like that. But in reality, in Florida, there's always something to do. You can always keep it spicy. So that's a big culture shock that I found from living in Connecticut to Florida. So this is culture shock number 7, but it's not the last. It was supposed to be the last, but I actually learned something new while I'm filming for you guys. And you probably laugh at me at the end once you learn what it is. So culture shock number 7, it's very health conscious out here. If you'll notice, it's always year-round sun. So what does that mean? You can go out running. You want to go to the gym more often. You want to stay in shape because you don't have that, what they call winter weight. People end up getting booed up in the winter there. They end up ordering all the time and they skip the gym more often because it's cold and uncomfortable. You're not going out running, you're not hiking. You just don't want to go to the gym, be sweaty, and go out into the cold. So there's a wide variety of things that stop people from staying in shape year round. Here, not only is it beautiful out year round, so you want to and you're getting more sun, but it's a lot easier and a lot better because there's more places to eat. If you think about it, there's smoothie bars, you got vegan, you got all of these salad places. There's so many choices that you're able to choose from if you're trying to eat healthy. And then on top of that, you have the weather to make you want to live healthy. So that is one of the culture shocks I realized back in Connecticut. As I said a couple times in this video, people actually get boyfriends and girlfriends just for the winter, and then they end up being free during the summer. I know a couple girls that do that. So realistically, I would be careful if I was you, if you're back home and you're just one of those winter boos, because once the summer comes, it's a free-for-all for them. They want to get out. And culture shock number 8, this is the bonus. If you notice, I am sweating. I should have worn an undershirt. So if you're going to be filming for any reason, bring an undershirt. I brought change of shirts, but it wouldn't look good for this series if I just changed my shirt. So I'm gonna let you guys see I am sweating because I have the sun beating directly on me. So if you're gonna shoot videos out in Florida, culture shock number 8, you better realize you should wear an undershirt year round. I hope you guys end up enjoying this video. If you like it, be sure to comment below. Let me know what you think. If you hated it, let me know how much you hate it. And I will see you in the next video.